Excellent. So, as we said in the opening notices, we are beginning this series in habits. Spiritual disciplines, you might call it. Sort of how we roll spiritually as St. John's. This is sort of what we get up to and what we do. You might know there's a variety of different sort of styles of playing football, and you might admire a particular football manager and how they manage their football club and what they how they play the sport, or maybe rugby, or maybe you might be interested in business models and how different CEOs might model their companies and operate things. There are a wide variety of spiritual practices in the world, right? Of those, some of them, we would say, are Christian because they orientate themselves to the person and work of Jesus of Nazareth, right? And of those Christian disciplines, there's many to choose from. And actually, sometimes we get into decision fatigue, don't we? We have so much information that we're taking in throughout the course of any given day that we are required to make a decision about. So much so that most of us just ignore most of it. Because it's just too much. Right? And so with all these spiritual disciplines, these Christian disciplines, there's so many to sort of choose from. What I would like to do is just kind of take some of that heavy lifting and sort of reduce all of these spiritual disciplines to a few that are simple. Simple isn't easy, it's just not complicated. All right? Simple isn't easy, it's just not complicated. I could carry 100 kilos up the stairs once, or I could create a clever device and load 10 kilos at a time and have this machine that does that all for me to make it easier for me. But it's more complicated, more likely to break, takes a greater amount of expertise, da-da-da-da-da. Or I could just get stronger, keep it simple, and do the difficult but fairly straightforward thing of just picking up however much I can at a time and just taking it up the stairs. And actually getting stronger myself in the process. Right? So these are simple, not easy, but simple. And the only way that you will get better at them is by doing them. And you can sit back and say, Peter, how do I do it? How do I do it? How do I do it? By doing it. By doing it. But I'll make mistakes. Yeah, that's fine. Jesus died on the cross for our mistakes. And they're probably not going to be sin errors that we're talking about. But I'll be embarrassed of myself. Chill out. It's not about you. It's about God. God is big enough for your imperfections. He's big enough for your mistakes. Even the ones that are like moral and evil. He's made peace with them. So chill out and just do the stuff. It's not going to be easy. It's just simple. And I'm going to offer us 6 sort of habits. Go ahead, Catherine, if you put that slide up. 6 habits. Bible reading and prayer, fellowship and evangelism, fasting and generosity. And each of these habits have sort of like they come together. Bible reading and prayer is about me having a relationship with God, me communicating with God. Fellowship and evangelism is about including other people in my life of faith. Evangelism isn't like standing outside of Dorking Main Station with pamphlets, It's not having a tract in my back pocket, 2 ways to live, the 4 spiritual laws, or some other sort of persuasive literature that more or less gently says turn or burn. Right? All right? That's not what we mean by evangelism. What we mean by evangelism is having a life of faith and including other people who aren't Christians in my life of faith the same way I might include them in the fact that I like American football and the Indianapolis Colts are my NFL team. But obviously with a much greater degree of significance and meaning. Fellowship is just interacting with other people who have a life of faith in God, who do things like read their Bible and pray. And we get together and we read our Bible together and we pray together. And we do some other things together. We share our life of faith with other Christians. We share our life of faith with people who aren't Christians. And so that's me and others. And then there's fasting and generosity. And that has to do with being content and being satisfied with less so that I can offer more. And that's just my relationship with stuff. How does my life of faith, which I participate in within a community of people, how does that work out in materiality? Right? So it's me having a life of faith in God that is shared with others and has an impact on my relationship with stuff and my activity and the way I live my life. These are the habits that we're going to be talking about over the next several weeks. All right? But this morning, we're going to be looking specifically at Bible reading. Okay? So looking at Bible reading. Now, as we think about reading our Bible, I want to ask, what is the Bible and why should I read it? Because at the end of the day, this is a fairly mysterious book to most of us. It's a fairly mysterious book to most of us because even its formatting is different from every other book that we tend to read. We don't tend to read books that have these many pages. We don't tend to read books that have as thin of pages as these books have. You know, that sometimes are in 2 columns, sometimes it's in 1 page width column. They've got big numbers and little numbers and different books, and it's books within books and chapters. And these names. Can we stop the feed for just 1 moment? Excellent. All right, everything's okay. All right, good. So, that's okay. It's okay. All right, I'm going to carry on. It's okay that the feed doesn't pick back up. I'm just going to carry on. So, what is the Bible and why